Hey, this is Matt here, and I want to talk about here in this video is how much we are creating our attitudes and behaviors all the time, moment to moment. This is something that I've learned going through an amazing workshop, and this workshop taught me, how we are actually creators of our reality every single moment of every single day. And when you really think about it, and you think about, let's say, your behaviors and how you show up and how you feel, as well too, like whether you're feeling happy and joyful, or you're feeling frustrated and angry, or you're feeling like something is just like, you're just I don't know, there's just something that's in there, and we are creators of that. We are creating our attitudes from every single moment of every single day. And when I first learned about that, it was quite an interesting, concept. And when I started to understand it and then start being aware of, what I'm creating in every single moment through either thoughts, through, caving into the emotions, and then through, making it mean certain things. And then because I'm making it mean certain thing, then that's what I'm making real in my life. So let's say, for example, I'm waking up in the morning, and tired, maybe exhausted, and if I cave into that and I just start saying, yeah, I'm tired and I'm frustrated and I'm just not a morning person, and I kind of say, I didn't really get a good sleep and I should have gone to bed earlier, and I'm coming up with all sorts of stories to kind of support and validate the whole fact that I'm feeling grumpy in the morning, then that's what I'm making real for myself. Regardless of if it's true or not of what happened, that's what I'm making real, right? And so the more that I say it, the more that I reinforce it, the more I look for evidence to support it, the more that I'm making the attitude of being grumpy real. Therefore, I'm creating the reality of how I'm feeling in that moment of being grumpy. So if I catch myself having those thoughts, and then having maybe a particular emotion that supports that thought, and then understanding that it's not who I am, and therefore I can create a new outcome, a new reality, and then choose how I'm going to react to it, and then alter it to creating a new reality for myself, and in that space it could be more let's say, along the lines of joy, of happiness, of excitement, of pure joy and bliss, and if I create that, so one, being aware of it, and then two, creating that outcome through thoughts and through my own language, and even maybe speaking about it, and just saying, oh, I'm this is amazing, this is exciting. And sometimes it can feel unnatural for me because I'm overcoming a state of being, a state of feeling grumpy, for example, and I'm working on overcoming that and creating a new outcome, a new reality where I get to feel joyful. It might feel uncomfortable, however, by saying it, by thinking about it, by engaging myself into that, then I get to create that. It's kind of like how I'm showing up right here in front of the camera. Sometimes I jump in front of the camera and I feel like I'm not inspired, or I feel like I'm not inspiring, and so therefore, if I catch myself, in that moment that are being uninspiring and unexciting, then therefore I'm oh, well, hold on. This is what's happening right now, and if I cave into that, then that's what I create as my reality. Therefore, I can choose to not cave into that, and then alter that reality, and then choose to show up as an inspirational person, as with joy and excitement and vitality to be here and be able to share this message. So the whole point that I'm trying to make here is trying to paint you the picture that we are always creators of our realities, even when it comes down to our behaviors, our attitudes, and our perception of our lives and our situations and our circumstances. And so therefore, all I want to say here is, in order for you to overcome that, is start being aware of your behavior, start being aware of your attitude, start being aware of how you show up. And then when you become aware of it and you acknowledge it and you say, oh, okay, that's what's coming up right now for me. That's how I'm feeling right now, and it's okay. Don't judge it. Don't try to change, like resist it, or saying like, oh shit, I'm feeling grumpy right now. I don't want to feel grumpy. I stop being grumpy. When you do that, you're actually, enforcing it, and you're making more real, because when you resist it, it's actually persisting. So the idea here is to acknowledge it, to say, oh, okay, I feel like I can see now, like it feels like I'm grumpy right now. And by acknowledging it, you remove the power from it to control you, and then you become aware of it and controlling it itself. And then by being aware of it, then what you can do is simply let it go, and then create basically a blank slate in front of you, and then being like, okay, choose to creating a new reality out of joy, out of excitement, out of happiness. And that's how you can get out of a morning grudge or a morning attitude shift, and like, so if you're like feeling like grumpy in the morning, you can have those shifts right in that moment, and it's going to take some practice. It definitely takes some practice. However, the more you practice every moment that you have, where you do have a certain feeling or a certain way of showing up or a certain state of being, and then being aware of it, acknowledging it, and then from that point forward, letting it go, and creating this open slate. And when we create this open slate, it's like, okay, now I get to create a new attitude, and then I'm gonna create an attitude of showing up with happiness, showing up with excitement, showing up with joy, showing up with bliss, or whatever it calls for, whatever would be the alternate reality of how you are feeling, so whatever the alternate is. So if I'm feeling afraid, then it's like, oh, I'm creating then the outcome of courage. If I am feeling frustrated, it's like, okay, now I'm feeling creating the attitude and the feeling of joy and happiness. What else here? I'm trying to think of whatever it calls for. Like if you feel maybe small, you might be feeling like you're not able to do something. You feel like, I can't do this, even though you really want to. Like you just feel like, I can't do this. I can't work on this project, or I can't start a business, or I can't approach this girl or this guy or this person, or whatever it is. Just understand like where it is, how that feels, and then saying, no, okay, I create the outcome of power, of confidence, and bring yourself into that state, and feel how that feels when you're in power and in confidence and in joy and in happiness, and create that, choose that over choosing to stay in that state of being that's bringing you down, right? Because you always have a choice. So understanding that power is going to give you the power to take control over your life. So thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye bye.